Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. In today's video, I want to cover a rare hero by the name Arcanus. He's actually one of the heroes that you can select as a new player just starting out the game. He's one of the 3 heroes that you can select from your tutorial. And he is the one that I believe you should pick above all the other heroes because he's really strong and you're going to get a lot of mileage out of him. So what I want to do today is I'm going to show you his skills, why he's strong, and who you can pair him up with for some good results. So first, let's take a look at his skills. So he's a attacker mage type and he's all about burn. All right, so he burns all enemies and he has 1 chance to burn all enemies for a turn 2 times. So he actually gets 2 stacks of burn on the enemies. And then he deals all damage to all enemies at 200% attack. So this is an AoE attack hero. Now, 200% attack is not the highest that you would see on other heroes. A lot of heroes you'll see that go up to 300% or even 400% or so. But his passive ability more than makes up for it because what he does is he gains additional damage by 8% for every negative status he infects that is inflicted on an enemy. So it doesn't matter which one it is, burn, poison, sleep, anything, as long as it's a negative stat, for every one that's on the enemy, he deals 8% more damage. And he also increases his own attack by 20%. And he also has a mana gain. And so what you want to focus on with him is you want to give him critical damage, critical rate, and you want to boost his attack as much as possible, which is what I've done here. So you can take a look. He's currently at 6 stars and fully awakened. His attack is at just shy of 5,000 at 4919. I kind of want to try and get it to a little over 5,000, and I do want to bump up his critical damage even more. And so it's going to be about the armor for me at this point, so basically the gears. But basically what you want to do is you want to focus on attack, okay, and attack as much as you can, and then critical damage if you can, so that you can bring up his overall damage. Because he's a mage attacker, you don't need to really pump in a lot of health for him in this case. He's all about damage, and you want to use him that way. So you just want to protect him with a tank, so you can have him survive longer. So let's first evaluate some of the team compositions that would work well for Arcanus. And in my opinion, you can pair him up with many different types of teams and he's going to do well. But some of the sort of core ones that you want to think about is number 1, some tank that can protect him. In this case, Najar is going to be really good. Kusai is a really good hero to work with Arcanus because she dishes out a lot of negative stats. And so I think any hero that you have that can provide a lot of negative stats would be really good for him. Another one that we took a look at actually in the previous video, I showed you Zarya. Zarya, for example, is also a really good one because she also can give a lot of negative stats. So we can give her a try. And because Arcanus also deals damage based on attack, another one that you could focus on also is a hero that does attack up, such as Gaffadeth. So this is an example of a team that you can go with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this setup here. And we're going to bring in some additional potions to help us out as well, because we are up against a infernal level. So we may not, we may not be able to take it out. But again, this is about showing the skills and sort of, how strong he could be. So let's go ahead and jump into the fight. And then let's take a look and see how we do. So first, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we could get negative stats on our opponents, and we want to try and get Arcanus to be able to use this skill. And so what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and do the following. We are going to use Kusai's skill just to kind of show you what this is like. So right away, right off the bat, she gives off. She lands 4 negative stats. Okay, and then if we use it on Zarya, she's going to land up to 3 additional stats. Okay, and what we can do is we can go ahead and give ourselves an attack boost potion just so I can simulate what it's like. We could also put the potion on Gaffadeth to do the attack up, so that's a similar idea. And then we're gonna go ahead now and sort of see how much damage he can do at this point. So we have enemies with 6 and also with 7 negative stats. Let's go ahead and deal damage first. So you can see 13,000 across the board, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let Najar soak up all the damage. And then what I want to do is I actually want to then show you the damage the damage difference once Arcanus goes without any negative stats on the enemy. So we can show you just what the damage difference is. Remember, we did about 13,000 with about 6 or 7 stacks of negative stats, and all of our opponents actually at this point has has actually died with all of those negative stats. So you can see how effective they are. This is with Zarya, with with her snare, and with Kusai, with all the poison. It really makes a big difference. Okay, so now we have basically empty. We do have attack up, so we're going to go ahead and use his skill. So you can see 7,000. We nearly half, right? Like the damage is nearly half of what it was when the stack was just at 6, about 6 or 7 negative stats. Okay, and so you can just see how much of a difference it really makes. The more negative stats you can stack onto your opponents, the more effective Arcanus can be with his attack possibility. And so what we're going to do is I could have actually brought in a Ruby Dragon. That would have been even better actually. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to load up negative stats on one of them. Okay, and in fact actually now it's full, and I'm going to go ahead and now show you how much damage Arcanus can do with his skill. So let's go ahead and activate. And so you can see 14,000 for the one that has the most attack, for the most negative stats on. So you can see how much damage he's able to deal out. And this is a rare hero. It's an AoE attacker. And so he's not going to be your farmer necessarily, but he is going to be one that's going to be very helpful in a lot of situations. He's definitely a really great choice for war, right? And because the rare camp is one of the first ones that the enemies will face, you want to bring him in. I think he's going to be a really strong opponent to deal with. And so if you have the right composition to bring with him, he's going to be very devastating in a lot of situations. For comparison purposes, I'm going to bring in Brick. I've made a video about Brick. She's one of the best farmers in the game as well. For being a rare hero, she's fantastic, but she's not necessarily the greatest past farming exercise, and I'm going to show you sort of the comparison between the two. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to use our skills right now. First, let's go ahead and compare our results without any positive stats on. Okay, so you can see Brick will deal about 3,000 or so, and her stats are not too far off of Arcanus. And then if you take a look at Arcanus' skill, he's able to already deal 6,000 or so, because keep in mind, he's inflicting negative stats first, so he's already boosting his stats. And so you can see he really is strong compared to some of the other heroes, especially in the rare category. And so that's why I think that he's really, really strong, and I really enjoy using him. So just for fun, let's go ahead and bring in some pretty debuff heavy teams. And let's see, how this turns out. We don't have a tank here, but we do have Zarkon, we have Zarya, we have Kusai. They're all going to deal some really nasty debuffs, and we're gonna see if we can survive this this round here. I changed my dragon to Vermin as well, so that we could add some more negative stats as well. And since my team is relatively quick as well, so I'm able to also benefit from here and get a little bit of a kickstart. So I can actually use I can actually go ahead and get Zarya to use her skill, and I can also get Kusai to go off, and then I just need to use 1 mana pot to get Arcanus' skill going. So you can see we are basically loading up our skills already. I should have used Kusai first, because then I would have landed the decreased resistance. Then all of the others would have been able to use their skills. And so we're going to go ahead and just use Arcanus' skill here. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it one more time just to try and load up the damage. So you can see 18,000 damage was dealt to Lian on the right side here, and that is just an insane amount of damage, right? And so let's go ahead and let this go and see how much damage we can deal to them while it's their turn, right? So we would expect to see most of them to actually probably lose all of their health after this. And so you can see here we did lose Streetbog, unfortunately, because he is a blue hero here, and so he really wasn't the greatest choice in this case, but I just wanted to have a fast hero to begin the fight with, so that I can utilize the speed, but you would probably want to replace him with somebody else in this case. But what I'm showing here is Arcanus is really strong. You can see how much damage he's able to deal, especially if you take advantage of all of the negative stats here. And what we're going to do is we can use the dragon here, and you can see we can, you know, load up his skill again. And in fact, we can go ahead and use Zarya and you know, load up the rest of the stats there, and then we can use his skill again to deal more damage. And so Arcanus is really useful. I really enjoy using him. And you can see here after you know, after you're done with his abilities, you are left with a, you know, your opponents are left with a bunch of negative stats that they have to deal with. Okay, and so we're gonna go ahead and let this go now. And I have to say that, you know, if you haven't used him much, he is really strong. He's also really good against the raid boss and against the green boss. And so if you haven't tried him out yet, I highly encourage him. Give him a shot. He's a rare hero, so it's easy to level him up. And you know, I think that you'll really enjoy him. Just one last thing that I didn't mention. I used him as a leader in this case as well, because he also increases accuracy for all of your allies in all game modes. And so this allows you and your other debuffers to land their skills a little bit easier as well. And so it's all geared toward, you know, enabling him to deal more damage. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to try and make more of these different types of videos, like talking about various different heroes. So let me know in the comments below who you like best, who you would really want to see, and what other kind of content you would like to see from this channel. Let me know. I'd love to hear some feedback. That's all. That's going to be from me for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.